Last night I started my sermon, and for those of you who are here, I'm only repeating the very beginning. For those of you who are not, you'll hear this beginning story. Last night I started my sermon by sharing a story that a few days after Nadiv's amazing, wonderful bar mitzvah, that Nadiv received a gift in the mail. And Nadiv opened the box excitedly because, we don't really get gifts in the mail that much anymore, admired its contents, and it was a beautiful Star of David necklace. Nadiv looked at it, thought about it, admired it, and said, I love it, but I don't feel comfortable wearing a Jewish star out in public right now. I'll put it away for later. Now, what I didn't share last night was that after this exchange, I wrote Nadiv a letter. And as I was planning for the holidays, I realized that it might be nice to share this letter with all of you. After all, Rabbi's kid never gets any secrets anyway. Because I thought its message might provide some comfort, nechemta, and maybe some material or some stuff to help buoy us as we strengthen ourselves to go into the world again tomorrow. So here goes. Dear Nadiv, first, so it's actually not hard to do now that I said it. Dear Nadiv, your dad and I are so proud of you. You studied, prepared, offered a beautiful interpretation of Torah, and chanted Torah with grace. We are so proud to see you taking your Judaism seriously and thinking about it for yourself in this transition as a bar mitzvah. I also want to say that I am sorry that you are growing up in a time where you worry about publicly identifying yourself as a Jew. I'm even more sorry that you have grown up with the politics of hatred. In your 13 years, you have seen attacks on the disabled, attacks on LGBTQ people, attacks on women, people of color, and immigrants. And this is what you know to be normal. And now we are experiencing hatred on our own community. Well, especially, it's been going. I want to say something really important. While there is so much hatred in the world, Judaism, which is your inheritance, is a religion of love and a vehicle for bringing more love into the world. While not many talk about it this way, love is the beating heart of Judaism, instilling in us a love of life, a love of learning, a love of the other, and a love of self. You may have studied in Makom that during the Torah's account of creation, God pauses to say, Ki tov, it is good. Looking at the whole of creation, on the sixth day, God says, Ki tov ma'od, it is very good. Just as I always say that every letter and word and phrase in Torah matters, these 2-3 short words tell us almost everything we need to know. Creation is inherently good. The world is an awesome place, and we are meant to recognize it and to enjoy what it has to offer. This is one of the reasons why we have so many blessings in Judaism, as I have tried to point out over the years. Blessings for rainbows, blessings for different types of food, blessings for people you haven't seen in a long time, blessing for new experiences of the Shehechianu, which we recite all the time. Traditionally, a person is to recite 100 blessings a day. We might not make it to that number, but blessings are an invitation for us to pause and be present, to remember ki tov ma'od, it is very good. We practice blessings even when we may not be feeling gratitude or awe, to remind ourselves that life is beautiful and worthwhile. Nadiv, I want you to remember, especially as you get older and life inevitably gets harder, that life is a miraculous, marvelous playground. May your love of life be contagious and inspiring to all who you come into contact with. And here's something else that's so important. Knowing that creation is tov ma'od, very good, means that everything that is part of it is good too, including you. The Torah tells us as soon as they are created that human beings are created in the image of God, which is not meant to be literal, since God has no image, but spiritual, that every person has inestimable value. In fact, the ancient rabbis teach that because we have been created in God's image, every person is obligated to say that the world was created for my sake. Now, don't get this wrong. This is not a call for self-centeredness. Rather, it is an instruction to value ourselves and the unique gifts that we each can bring into this world. It is a recipe for loving yourself enough to know that you matter and that you can make a difference, whether in your relationships with others or in your efforts towards tikkun olam, repair of the world. Nadiv, at your bar mitzvah, you beautifully drashed the verse, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, defining that love is giving generously to one another. Not only was this a beautiful speech, but you got to the heart of Judaism with your interpretation. We are taught to love others, whether the neighbor or community member or people closest to us, or the stranger we don't know but that we can relate to based on our people's experiences of being a stranger. By the way, the Torah says that 36 times. Sometimes we're not very subtle. But cultivating feelings is not an end of itself. Feelings are not the goal. Rather, we are taught to love through our behaviors and our actions, through gemilut chesed. Chesed, a word you know from your tribes at camp, is a word that can be translated to kindness or love, and because we're Jews, we like to have it both ways, so we say loving kindness. Acts like hospitality to guests, bringing over chicken soup when someone is sick, comforting those whose loved ones have died, and rejoicing at a simcha, a joyous event, are examples. But beyond these specific examples, the Jewish ethos of chesed, of love, kindness, teaches that above all, we should be compassionate to everyone with whom we interact, from beggars on the street and homeless people to peers to teachers and everyone in the middle. The ethos of kindness, of chesed, invites us to be inclusive, to bring in whoever may feel on the side, to put our phones down. I repeat, to put our phones down and really see people, to offer the benefit of the doubt. In a world of hate and division, we are called to a totally different kind of task, to build a world of chesed, a world of love, a world of kindness. It is not easy, and there are certainly a lot of forces working against us, but it is our sacred Jewish task. Nadiv, you are now a responsible Jewish adult. This is not just my tradition or your father's, it is yours. I hope and pray that within it you find love in all the places it can manifest, that you shine that light of love into the world. And always know you are not alone. You are accompanied by your Jewish community and carried by all those who came before you and all those who come after you. And remember, it is not up to you to complete the task, even as you are not free to ignore it. I love you, and will continue to pray and work for a world in which you, our people, and all people are safe and free. Love, Mom. Shana Tova.